Thank you for joining us. I wanted to introduce you guys to Adam Street from Sketch My Wedding.
Hello.
Adam is a different vendor from all the other vendors we generally have on the list. He actually just brings something truly special to any event that he comes to, which is why we highly recommend them, because we're obviously not a conventional space. We don't do conventional events. So we have to have vendors that really add to that. And Adam with Sketch My Wedding is absolutely that. So Adam, tell me a little bit about you and what you do.
Well, I, of course, am a caricature artist who draws at the events. And it's kind of funny how it came to be, or how I came to be a caricature artist. So my background is I used to be an insurance agent, and I left that to go work for Marvel Comics.
Okay.
So went from selling insurance to working on Spider-Man and the Avengers and like all the kind of movies that you see out right now.
Yeah.
And it was really fun, and essentially it was my dream job. I've always loved comics as a kid, but when Disney came in, I thought, you know what, if I get fired, this is really going to suck. So I started snooping around for work to do. And another passion that I had was designing characters for movies and comic books and that type of thing. So a guy named Steven Silver, he had this old podcast in the iTunes store. It was like 2 minutes long, and it was Become a Caricature Artist if you want to be a designer. And I thought, okay, well, whatever, I'll try it for a few months, see what happens, what the heck. So that's what I did. I literally tried it. I went to the mall, I did that for a couple of months, and I just fell in love with it. But when I worked my first event, somebody saw me there, hired me to work their reunion, fell in love with working events. And from that point on, I left the mall and just completely focused on working events. Now, I partnered up with my DJ who we hired, who did weddings. And so he still does mostly weddings. And that's how I started working the wedding space first, actually, after that reunion. And from there on, it just went weddings and corporate parties and birthdays and everything else that's out there.
I think it just works so well because in our digital world, as we're doing this interview via the internet, like we don't actually get things that you actually hold in your hand anymore, which is why photo booths are actually like making a huge comeback too, because you get a printed image to take home. And I think that's why these caricatures like is so special, because really you don't get to hold anything anymore. You get to hold your phone with a picture of what you saw, what you did, where you went. Like this is something
Right.
you can hold and you can frame. Like I actually have the picture that you drew in my office frame in downtown. And it's just such a treat. Like it's such a cool thing because most people will not expect to have that activity there. So I've had you at our events where people are lined up. They're so excited at the opportunity of having something like this because every time I ever see it out in the wild, for lack of a better word, I'm always in a rush and I can't stop and I don't have time to sit down. So this is such a nice opportunity. You do have time to sit down and it doesn't take that long. Like you're really good at what you do. So you're able to do it in like a good amount of time. It doesn't take up, and it's, like I said, it's a great gift or treat for the guests.
Yeah, caricature, I always joke around that caricature is the one thing people didn't realize they wanted. Because a lot of times they think caricature and they're going like, oh, okay, like, yeah, we have a photo booth caricature artist. They're just checking boxes for entertainment. But when you get there and you see an artist, we almost always have lines. That long. It's not, because we're slow, because like you said, it usually only takes a few minutes a person. So it's not that long. But what's so cool is just in demand and people enjoy them. And so people who didn't think they were coming to this wedding or corporate party to get drawn by an artist, but once they see it and you see 5, 6, 10, 20 of them, floating around the place, now all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to get one of those, or, I can't wait till, sit down or that type of thing. So it's really neat because the longer an artist is there drawing, the longer I'm at an event, the more people want to get drawn. And even if I want people come back and get a second caricature. So it's kind of crack, honestly.
They will, because you start with your traditional, like your partner or your spouse, whoever you came with, you're going to get that one. And then you catch up with friends. You're like, oh my gosh, like the three of us should get one together. When are we going to see each other again? And like, it's really awesome. And I'll be honest, when I first met you and like we started interacting, it's sort of the same thing. I'm like, oh, it's a character, it just sort of is what it is. But you get sucked in. It's so fun. It's such a cool thing to have. And like, you'll see that people leave the events and they like purses like under their arm and like, they're a mess because it's been like a long night. They've had a great time. But like the caricature in the little baggie is like very gently carried out of the building. That's what they're protecting. Not their like $500 phone, not their fancy purse, whatever. It's this like baggie with the picture. This is what we're going to be carefully carrying out of here. And I think it's so fun because
Me
it's
too.
capturing that memory.
Hmm. Yeah, when I see that, I guess it's two. I see some people who get their caricature, they'll love it, and then like put it in the car so nothing happens to it.
Right.
So I get that type of person. And then, like you said at the end, when I see everybody holding them, because one thing that's neat, so we do digital portraits that are done on the iPad, and they get a
Okay.
4x6 print. But then the regular one that we do that we draw on paper is 11 by 17.
Yeah.
So it's so neat because the paper is huge. I mean, 11 by 17 is a lot. It's a poster size, actually.
Right.
Oh yeah, when you leave something that big, it's just like bam, it's all in your face, and then so people just love
Yeah, like I said, it's just such a fun thing to have, and it's not a crazy additional expense in comparison to what is out there. Of what every time you add these little things, it's thousands upon thousands of dollars usually, and your prices are incredibly comparable, and it's well worth what you get. And like I said, like this is something at whether it's wedding, corporate, nonprofit, your guests are going to be talking about this. It is something they take with them, literally. And so, yeah, it's one of my favorite things. Like, I think my favorite one that you did is the couple that got engaged through a caricature artist at Disney. Do you remember that one? That was years ago. And then that was
it.
at their giveaway at the wedding.
Not the drawing itself.
Yeah, no, like, so it was just like one of my favorite couples forever. Like, I still see them on Instagram and Facebook. But yeah, and it's just a cool way to incorporate it. And for the guests that didn't necessarily know the engagement story, it was still a fun treat for them. But yeah, it's just always better when you have that person there that interacts with and kind of keeps it going versus like a photo booth. And I have a photo booth, so I can say this confidently, is not as personal, and it just has that extra touch that really makes your guests know that you really went above and beyond for them to have a great time.
Well, one thing about caricature, sometimes when people ask me, what's the difference between like, why should I hire you over a photo booth or something like that? And the word that I use is impact. Caricature has a bigger impact because, like you said, it happens there. People are watching, so it's that source of entertainment. And then you have the take-home portion, of them taking it home and they put it in the refrigerator or they hang on the wall. Some people take a photo, post it on Facebook. So now you have people on Facebook commenting about it. And then you have people, 6 months later, like, oh my God, where'd you get that from? Or, if they were there at the party or the wedding too. And it just like it keeps going, and it's a great feeling, to always have that come back. Like I had this one couple who I did their wedding. Mm-hmm. And they didn't get one. And I told them, like, hey, if you want a caricature, it's cool. I'll totally draw you from a photo. Just send it to me because I just do not want a bride and groom leaving their wedding with no caricature.
Of course.
And then I never heard from them until a year later. And the bride told me, I am so tired of visiting my friends and seeing their caricatures on the wall. If it's okay, can we please have one still?
Aww. That's so sweet. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's exactly it. Like everybody, I was just thinking, I have the one in my living room as well from you. And it's just, like you said, impact is, like I said, we own a photo booth, we rent it out. It's a great experience for the guests. Everybody enjoys it. But this is just like that 10 steps up from that.
Yeah.
And like you said, like it has that impact and it changes. Like that bride said, she visits all her friends and they have this framed in their house from their wedding day. Like it just really creates just a magical memory of that day, which is awesome.
Yeah, it really does. And I would say that even if I wasn't a caricature artist.
Right? Oh yeah, no, I'm totally sold. Like I said, like we slowly met over years and stuff, and I just started seeing your stuff more and more, and the more and more I saw it, I was just like, I want you at every single event because it's just fun to watch people react to it. It's for me in a similar sense, like I love the first time people see the like Warehouse 215, the building inside. Like it's always sort of this like, because they can't really tell from outside what they're walking into, and they walk into this like beautiful historic space, and it's something similar. Like they get there, they're excited, they're at the event, and then they just get this extra plus to seal the deal, for lack of a better word. But
and that too, actually, it's funny you mentioned that because when I did my first event there, I had never been there before, so I'm going in and I'm like, wow, this place is cool.
It's just like it's a treat, and like. I mean, we live in this world where it's go, 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 get something done, do this, do that, like just to be able to like step back for a hot second, enjoy a nice space, have something fun happen. It's just,
yeah,
it's what makes those events really, really special.
Yeah, because so much of it is character, because your venue looks like the warehouse. You don't walk in there and think like, oh, isn't there that one place in Mesa or the one with the like, no, no, warehouse looks like warehouse 215, like, period.
Yeah.
And so that's what's so cool about it. And then that's kind of also in a kind of extension what I do. Those caricatures, they look like caricatures. They look like the people. You're not thinking like, oh, is that Phil or Tom? Like, no, that's
Right.
Tom.
That's very, very true. It looks like the people, and it captures them in a different way than a photo does, which is what is even more fun.
Yeah. And the thing too, I think one of the reasons why I kind of spoke around is that my caricatures are flattering. It's me and the artists that I have on my team. We're all focused on having flattering caricatures. So if you want something goofy or silly, or you want a huge nose or something, I mean, most of us can do it if you wanted it. But what we're known for is flattery, and that's what makes it so cool because you're not going to look hideous or something like you might get at a theme park. We're totally different. We want you to look good. We want you to like your picture.
That's actually a great way to put it. Now that I think about it, I've never seen because if you think about caricature that you get at a theme park, it is usually like accentuating the things that you're generally pretty self-conscious about.
Yeah.
And yours aren't. Nice, kudos. I never thought about that, but that's absolutely true.
Yeah, and and in the beginning, I was trying to draw like other people, and so I used to tell my wife, whom Tiffany, I'm like, I need to try to be like more like these guys and do like what a lot of the theme park artists were doing. And so after, honestly, I think about a year, maybe even almost 2 years, she just said, Adam, people like you for who you are. You draw like you draw comics. You don't have to draw like a caricature artist, draw like a comic book artist. And then I just thought, well, because people did like my art, it was resonating with people. So I thought, it ain't broke, why fix it? So that was kind of, the philosophy I just hung with. And so then, I had to do the same thing with the guys that I work with.
And I think that's absolutely true. There is just a little bit of a different touch in comparison to what else is out there, and I think that's what makes it truly special. And the fact that you're a genuinely likable human being also makes it easy to sit with you. Like, because if you have someone that's kind of a little bit socially awkward and you have to sit and stare at them in the face for like, what is it, like whatever, 5 to 10 minutes, whatever it is, that's hard. Like,
yeah.
So at least this is someone that you can like have a conversation with or just kind of interact with, and it's just very natural, which is really, really nice.
So when I started, I worked my first event working with another artist. It was this lady, and you're still in the beginning. I was still learning, just with speed and all the different technical aspects of doing caricature. And this lady, she was really, really good. She was a phenomenal artist. But my line was like twice as long as hers. And the reason why, she was totally quiet. So she was just drawing like this. And the people were sitting back there like, okay, should I move? Should I not?
Right, and that reflects on the image later because the longer that goes on, the more uncomfortable the person gets, right? Like you sort of like.
Yeah, you look like a hostage in your caricature because you're just like, okay, is it, yeah. So yeah, it's just, have fun. I want to make it so, you don't have to sit there and pose. You can just really do your thing, have fun, and enjoy yourself. Now, you don't want to start like texting and doing that because.
Right, no, it's an interactive experience.
Yeah.
So tell me, what are the best ways for folks to get a hold of you? Instagram, email, website, what is the best way?
Best way is probably through my website or email. It'll be same thing, our contact form. It's sketchmywedding.com, and my email is adam@sketchmywedding.com.
Perfect. I'll also make sure to put that at the bottom so they can just see it right away. And then thank you so much for coming online with me today and chatting with me.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
You have an amazing day.
Thank you. Be safe.